What is going on YouTube? It is Old Psycho. I am back with another video. Anime is different now. Anime is a lot different now than what it used to be. I'm at a point in time where I can remember when Digimon used to air on TV on Saturday mornings. Um, I'm pretty sure a lot of Zoomers, a lot of Gen Alphas that are on the internet right now probably don't know much about Dragon Ball, Digimon, or the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. And the anime that we have today, there just isn't a lot of variety. Like, we have a lot of isekai coming out, and they all kind of feel very similar. Like we always have that popular fantasy anime that's out for the season, then we just kind of forget about it, and then we just kind of hop on to the next thing. I feel like back then we had anime that were more distinct. We had more animators to go around in Japan. Once people realized that maybe being an animator isn't as fruitful of a career as we thought, Japan, a lot of people stopped applying for art schools and stuff like that, and now we have a fucking animator shortage, and now everything's fucked up. We don't have enough animators to go around. So a lot of the unique manga that could get anime adaptations, for example, Dr. Stone and One Punch Man, they get really fucked up. They get fucked up adaptations now, and we give all the crazy animators, all the godlike animators, to shit that really shouldn't be that popular, like Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is being carried by animation, but what if we had that kind of animation, that kind of attention put onto it, to a remake of a popular anime from a long time ago? I feel like if we bring back some of these series, that it would grab a new fan base, it would garner new attention, kind of like what's happening with A Thousand Year Blood War for Bleach. So we're gonna be talking about that right now. So the first one up is fucking Seiya. Say fucking bro, this shit came out in the fucking 80s. I thought it was like a 90s anime. I did some research. This shit came out in the fucking 80s, bro. And the only reason I knew about it is because of J-Star's victory in Jump Force. Saint Seiya is it's a very big part of Shonen Jump's history, especially like during the early days of Shonen Jump. I think Saint Seiya is fucking awesome. Like, when you got these guys fighting in fucking space, and they're insanely powerful. Like, a lot of people will say that they can actually, if some of these characters were to fight some of the characters from Dragon Ball, they would actually hold their own. In fact, they might even beat them at some point. But yeah, Saint Seiya, I can't really say much about this anime because I haven't seen a lot, but I guarantee you, like, if this shit was remade, it would grab like a big new fan base. So next up, tell me a YuYu Hakusho remake wouldn't go hard, bro. Like, this is one of my favorite anime of all the time, written by Yoshihiro Togashi. A lot of people talk about his later work, Hunter x Hunter, but I feel like Yu Yu Hakusho was written a little bit better than Hunter x Hunter and had way better action than Hunter x Hunter. Like, if we're being honest, Hunter x Hunter didn't really have a lot of action throughout the story. Like, its writing was very good, but a lot of its action was kind of, how do I say it? It was more like a deconstruction of shonen rather than a shonen itself, like what we have with Yu Yu Hakusho. I feel like the character Yusuke Urameshi would vibe well with kids today, or just like teenagers today, because I feel like there was a time where we liked those really good protagonists. I feel like now we're kind of leaning towards a lot of the edgy stuff, like with JJK, Chainsaw Man. Even though those protagonists are pretty kind of goody two shoes, but a lot of people tend to vibe with characters like Gojo, a character who doesn't really give a shit about the regular person, or Sukuna. A lot of people like Sukuna. Someone like Yusuke Urameshi, a delinquent, who he's probably the most relatable Shonen Jump protagonist that we've ever gotten. He actually acts like a 14-year-old would act, especially one in a single parent household. And as someone who's grown up in a single parent household, I can definitely relate a lot to Yusuke. I wasn't running around shooting spear guns and shit like that, but it that path of delinquency was right there for me. I believe Yu Yu Hakusho was animated by I think it was fucking Studio Period. These guys they did a lot of shit. I think they did like Naruto and Bleach later on. So I feel like if they did lose the rights to Yu Yu Hakusho, we probably would get a remake. But I would like to see Studio Period do it because I think they would do a very crazy job. Like they would be. I feel like it would be really good, especially if it was like seasonal, you know. So yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, give us a remake, bro. Fist of the North Star. This is another character where I feel like a lot of people got tired of for a minute, but I feel like he would vibe well with audiences today. Kenshiro is a very big, like we wouldn't have a lot of things if it wasn't for Kenshiro. He inspired Guts off of Berserk. He also inspired Jotaro off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I feel like if we brought Fist of the North Star back with modern animation, good animation with good choreography, I feel like it would be a very awesome series to watch. Maybe not like the best story, but let's be real. Like people people be watching fucking Solo Leveling and defending that shit. Like despite what you may say about Solo Leveling, is the most popular anime out right now. And when you think about the most popular anime of all time, Dragon Ball, was Dragon Ball story good? Not really. It wasn't. It wasn't that great. Toriyama was really making up shit on the fly like pretty much every week. I loved it, and I still love it. But if we're talking about objectively, writing quality wise, it just wasn't that great. So I feel like that wouldn't be a good reason as to why people wouldn't watch it. Because let's be honest, people don't really care if a story is good or not. They care if a character is cool, they care if the supporting characters are cool, and they care if the fights are cool. People just want to sit down, turn their brains off, and enjoy some fucking action. So yeah, Fist of the North Star, we need a remake of this shit. Next up, bro, tell me a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime in 2025 wouldn't go hard, bro. Like, if we get like, how would I describe it? If we get what we had in Dark Side Dimensions or what we see in the later seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! And we just take Duel Monsters and give it that animation, we're sitting on a fucking gold mine, bro. Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially with its OG protagonist would go so hard. Like, I don't know if people will fuck with like the season 0 shit cause there's a whole arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! That happens before all the Duel Monster stuff when basically Yami Yugi, the Pharaoh, is that nigga's evil. And he's thinking like Kakegurui, but at the end of it he fucking takes their soul and shit. He would basically target like just people he deems as bad or just like evil people. Like so he's kind of like a Kakegurui Punisher. Yeah, that's probably the best way I would be able to describe it. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! With modern animation. I'm not sure. Damn, who's the studio that makes this shit? Hold on, let me research. Yeah, Studio Gallop, and that shit, like, even the filler arcs, like the Seal Orikakos are, you just tying up the writing a little bit. I feel like we would have a new wave of fans, that'll be into Yu-Gi-Oh. Now I heard they were making a series with, like, they're basically going into the monster lore of the series. Like they want to pretty much because there's a lot of lore on the monsters of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I guess they want to make series on those, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I think they're doing Fallen of the Outbass and the Sky Strikers. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But I feel like if they really if they wanted to make some like mean ass money, bro, and I thought they was gonna do this back when Dark Side Dimensions came out, that we was probably gonna get like a remake of the whole series, but we just never did. And I feel like I don't know, maybe for the 30th anniversary night in 2026, 2027. Yeah, this shit will go fucking hard. So yeah, we need a remake of Yu-Gi-Oh. So next up, we need a remake of all three of these shows: Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece. There are similar reasons for all three, but a little bit of different reasons for all three, and I'm gonna explain why. So One Piece is currently going through. It's approaching the end of the series, and I think ever since the Wano arc, the animation has just like been on fucking crack. Like I don't know what the hell. Like maybe they're giving their animators much more time to do things because Toei Animation, they have some good animators. But while I used to fucking shit on Toei Animation, I'll be like, bro, this manga, it better not be animated by Toei. Fucking I was very happy when One Punch Man didn't get picked up by Toei, but now I'm kind of regretting it because it just ended up going to a shitty studio anyway. Yeah, so like One Piece's animation was very like it was okay for the majority of the series, and then I think it was around the Doflamingo arc. It was just flat out bad, bro. Like I just did not like it, and like now it's like movie quality animation, and I'm thinking, damn, if we had this type of like tier one animation like back in the day, like throughout all of One Piece, bro, it'll be fucking great. And with Naruto, no, I think Naruto and Bleach were animated by Studio Period, and if we had some of the later quality for Bleach and Naruto for throughout the whole series, like we just did a whole remake. I remember they announced that Naruto was supposed to get like a 4 episode special. We just never got it. We never got that shit. So I'm very salty about that. I didn't forget about that shit. I don't know if you guys ever heard about that, but yeah, we were supposed to get a 4 episode special of Naruto. I don't know if it was supposed to be like canon material, but I think that would have been fucking cool. I think for the 20th anniversary, they showed like this little, I don't know, it was like a music video thing where like they're showing like all the big moments in Naruto, and it was animated beautifully. I'm like, dude, we need a remake of this fucking show with just top tier animation. You don't have to remake it again. You don't have to remake it again. Just give Bleach and Naruto like the Hunter x Hunter treatment, what they got in 2011. And I think we'll be golden. Now as for Bleach, from what I'm seeing in the Thousand Year Blood War, I'm like, dude, imagine the fucking Aranka arc, the Ichigo and Ukiura fight with this type of animation. Like it is crazy how good this anime looks, and a big reason why I want all these to get a remake is the pacing of old long running anime was absolutely atrocious. If I'm being honest with you guys, like it was such a fucking like slog to watch these weekly. You know, they would drag things out. And this is one thing that One Piece did a lot, because a lot of people would defend One Piece saying, "Oh, One Piece doesn't have a lot of filler." They're right. It doesn't have a lot of filler. But what they would do is that they would take one chapter and stretch it out to a whole episode, which was fucking terrible. Like the pacing for a lot of the fights and a lot of the big moments in the series were just stretched out, and it was just like fucking ass. It was so ass, bro. And in the manga, it's so different from the manga because it has the pacing is so much faster in the manga. And I mean you could say this for all 3 of these. The pace is much faster in the manga, and the anime kind of stretches it out. Now with Naruto, a lot of there was a lot of moments where they would mix canon into filler, and they would use flashbacks to kind of fill out runtime for the episode. And it was just basically reuse animation, reuse footage, and they just put like a gray filter on it. It'll be like half the episode, and we get like what, maybe 3 minutes of canon content, and see you next week. Bro, rewatching this show with my friends, it was just very very aggravating going through those episodes. OG Naruto, Part 1 Naruto, it was great. It was great. But when we got to Shippuden, the pacing just, I didn't know the pacing would get any slower. It got so fucking slow during the guard rescue arc. I couldn't stand it. Once we got to around, I think it was after the Tenshu Bridge, I think that's what you call it. After Naruto fought Orochimaru in his Nine Tails form, the pacing started to get a little bit better. It slowed down again, and it got a little bit better. And it got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I just gotta watch like a different cut of this. Like there was someone that edited a whole cut of the anime without all the filler and shit like that. I've just been watching that, and it's been great. It's basically just all the manga content, just like chopped up and served in a more digestible way, I would say. Yeah. As for Bleach had very similar issues. They didn't really have too many flashbacks, it was just like very slow pacing, and with the amount of exposition and writing in Bleach, um it would just take up a lot of the runtime in the episode. Like it was kind of a slog for me to get to the Soul Society. Even during that part of the story, there was just a lot of stuff to take in, and there was an insane amount of filler. That was probably the biggest flaw in the Bleach anime. There was just a shit ton of filler. Like the Balance arc was like I think 40 episodes. That shit was longer than even the Soul Society arc. I heard it had some good filler, like apparently there's a arc about the Zanpakutos toes and shit like that. I'm gonna be watching through that once I get to it. Yeah, as far as the story goes, it's fantastic, and I think if you just kind of have like maybe a even just a remaster of Bleach will be fucking awesome, because the story still holds up to this day. If you ask me, I feel like Bleach was ahead of this time, because we're getting a lot of series right now that are like Bleach. Chainsaw Man, JJK, Demon Slayer. They all take a little bit of something from Bleach. Even when you look at something like Tokyo Ghoul, they all take a little bit something from Bleach. And if you just take this series and remake it to today's standards, take out all the censorship that it had, I could tell that a lot of the moments in Bleach were heavily censored. I feel like today Kubo would just be able to go all out with his series, and it would just be awesome to see. So yeah, all three of these deserve a remake. They deserve new audiences, and they deserve some more money, because these three are like some of the biggest series that we've ever had. I feel like in terms of writing and stuff like that, they surpass Dragon Ball at this point, especially One Piece. In terms of artwork, I feel like the only one in contention is definitely Tide Kubo, but in terms of let's say panel clarity, no one touches fucking Dragon Ball. It's very hard to top that. But just give all these three fucking some good animation, man. And you can say the same thing about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball can definitely use a remake, especially after what we saw in Daima with like the first episode. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the first episode, like they reanimate a lot of big moments from Dragon Ball. If we had some of that shit, man, we'll be eating good, man. But yeah, so yeah, like fuck all this new isekai fancy anime shit. Just bring back some of the series that we know and love, bro. And yeah, that's about all I got to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.